Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX India A-List. In our endeavour to bring forth the stories of some of India's finest and brightest, today we have put together yet another unmissable lineup of India's who's who. Our first guest for the day is actor Genelia Deshmukh, known as a celebrated actress and hands-on mother. She also turned an entrepreneur and launched Imagine Meets with her husband and actor Ritesh Deshmukh. Listen in.
Celebrated actress and hands-on mother.
I'm quite particular about diet in terms of being whole plant-based.
She's also turned entrepreneur and launched Imagine Meets.
We eat well for 80% and then 20% we don't really, break our heads.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Genelia Deshmukh for excellence in acting and business.
Hello and welcome, Amit Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview as part of our NewsX A-List series. We're in conversation today with well-known actor Genelia Deshmukh. Genelia, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Uday. Thank you.
Let me begin by just talking to you, of course, about health firstly, because what we're seeing, of course, around the country is this pandemic, but also now with the monsoons, flu season is here. And a lot of people are, falling ill. What's your routine normally, during monsoons? Because of course you're a mother too. So what's the routine that you normally adopt for the family to keep yourself safe?
So I think, there are certain things that you just pass on for generations. And that's something that I, as a mom, have also done, like taken it from my grandmother or my mother or my mother-in-law and followed it for my kids. So while you use like ajwain and mint and, eucalyptus and camphor and all the general things that we like. I remember when my kids were little babies, we used to put it in a potli, the ajwain shake and all of that. So pretty much all of this. I'm quite particular about diet in terms of being whole plant-based, because I'm plant-based. I follow a plant-based diet. So we don't eat milk, we don't have dairy, we don't have meat. So my kids also plant-based. So on the whole, we follow a 80-20% rule wherein we eat well for 80% and then 20% we don't really, break our heads much. But I think that helps the whole. I'm also a big follower of steam inhalations because I feel that it just gives you so much of relief from colds and cough. So I think one of the things of the pandemic, which I've learned, I would do it only when I got the cold and cough. I would do patients. But today it has come about wherein it's become part of our routine, where we do it once we do it once a day for sure. On the days that we're not good, we'll do it once in the morning, once in the evening. And that's a routine. And I think that's something that we've taken off, which is correct from all the negativity that's around.
True. But that's a good point you're making. Don't just do it when you get a cold and cough, because a lot of people were doing it in the pandemic. When the first wave was peaking, the second wave was peaking, then they used to take to steam. But what you're saying, Genelia, is that, use Vicks, use steam inhalation as a daily routine, as a weekly routine. Don't just wait to fall sick.
About Vicks is what you do individually. Like I give my kids nilgiri bath. Like I put eucalyptus in their oil and their water when I'm giving them a bath. Of course, not on the eyes because it'll burn it, but burn them. That's what I do. But the good part about the Vicks vapor rub is that it's all there, right? So your relief is almost instant, because all you're doing is putting it in lukewarm water, not really boiling water, but it is in itself the goodness of Ayurveda, or the goodness of what your mom told you put together, which gives you relief. I think when you have a virus, most people have antibiotics and stuff like that, and that's not going to help because the virus is going to take its time to get off your system. All right. But what you need is relief. And I think that's what Vicks Vapor Rub does. It gives you that relief that you need at that point in time from your cold and your cough. And that really helps.
Right, Genelia. So that's of course, a great, tip that in fact you've given us to use Vicks Vapor Rub, and of course also make, steam inhalation a part of our weekly routine. But do you believe, in the last year and a half, people have finally started taking care of, one's health? Because, we used to see health, fitness, these were things that people often ignored. People used to prioritize work, traveling, partying, and certain other things. Health used to always be put on the back seat. But do you believe that, living through this pandemic, seeing what's happened around us, finally people are taking care of one's health?
I hope so, because it's the biggest investment in yourself, right? Like I'm someone who, like me and Ritesh, both as a family, we've grown out of it. Of course, we have had those phases where, clothes made the most amount of sense to us, or shoes made the most, but we've gone into a zone where we eat organic, we eat, food from literally from the farm, from farm to table. We are plant-based, so we eat food that is literally made in our kitchen. Nothing really that has animal protein, which I'm a believer that all these things. Sorry about that. All these things do cause your immunity to go 5 steps lower. And that was also one of the things that we did in the pandemic. So when we went plant-based, we were, hardcore non-vegetarian eaters, to totally off milk and eggs and all of that. It was for your immunity boost. And I think knowledge on that is growing. There's so much, though people want to be, healthy, sometimes they just do wrong things because there's so much things out there saying that do this, do that, do this. You need to trust your gut and trust yourself. But I have seen a change. I have seen people, at least doing their regular walks, doing meditations. I've seen people, and I hope that people are eating a lot more in the house rather than being out there. Yeah.
True. And of course, it's not that now you're doing this for your family, but you're sharing it with the country as well, because you've recently launched Imagine Meats, which of course is your plant-based product. So just quickly tell us about that, because we heard Ritesh talk about it on the Big Boss House with Salman Khan, and now of course you've launched it. Shah Rukh Khan has launched it. I saw that on social media. Tell us a bit about it.
Yes. So Imagine Meats was literally a pandemic baby. We started thinking about it 3 years ago, but when we were during the pandemic and everything shut, we said, why not make it a reality? And it is literally food made out of plants with no preservatives, no MSG, no colored artificial flavors put into it. So it's literally food made of it. And you can have everything from, your biryanis to your tikkas, to your sheikh kebabs, to your nuggets for your children. Generally, sausages and nuggets and all are always the leftover meat. This is pure protein, and our protein matches the protein of anything that is non-vegetarian. So yeah, the brand, it was something that we strongly believed in, and that we wanted to give the exact, because I'm a very happy vegetarian, but Ritesh missed his meat. I'm very, for me, it was, animal cruelty, and it was about just making my step towards a sustainable planet, which I want my kids, But Ritesh missed his meat at various occasions, and he wanted to have the taste without having the meat. So it started literally in our house with our kids, with us. literally there, wherein our kids wanted to eat nuggets, and we were like, yeah, have it at home. This can be cooked in your oil. This can be cooked in 5 minutes. You want a biryani, have it at home. So that's what we did. So we have a portfolio of 12 products, and we hope that it's a small step into a more sustainable planet.
Fantastic. Yeah, a more sustainable, a healthier planet. Kudos to you. You're now, in fact, I should have introduced you actor and entrepreneur now as well. After, of course, this decision of yours. Fantastic. Well, wishing you all the best for that. But final question to you, final two questions, in fact. One very quickly on lockdown lesson. One, of course, eat healthy. Be healthy. That's, of course, what you told us. But any other lockdown lessons that you picked up through the last year and a half?
Quality time. I think quality time as a family, with your friends, with people who matter. I mean, we're so caught up in a zillion things that we don't realize that our heart is in our houses, and we keep searching. We're in this mad race. I think at some level the pandemic made us stop, think. Of course, the pandemic had loads of negativities. We lost lives, we broke as people, but there were few of us who also, like my children, they enjoy nature. So whenever there wasn't a lockdown, or even during the lockdown, we went to the village, and they lived literally the village life there. So I mean, personally for me, I think just enjoying those moments with your family, which I wouldn't have seen Ritesh so often at home if it wasn't for because he's always so busy. And yes, immunity can't be built in one day. Immunity takes a long time. So do it as a, like I said, it's an 80-20 rule, and you're sorted.
Yes, exactly. Okay, and finally, Genelia, thank you. You've of course covered so many aspects as an entrepreneur, also of course as a health ambassador for Wix and for our viewers too today. But finally, a question for you as an actor: are you excited? Is there something coming soon? We're learning there's a project which you're looking at. So can you tell us something about it?
Yeah, so I've been looking at quite a few projects. I think I'm at a stage where I'm excited to be back, but I'll be back when I feel it's, absolutely right. One of the things that's on my mind is I've been part of so many industries, but not the Marathi industry. So I hope to have that as my, bucket list. I'm really looking forward to doing a film in Marathi. It's one of the languages that I haven't done, and I'd like to do. Back with OTT and with so much of work for different age groups. I'd like to do that kind. Like I keep seeing international stuff where they have films about mums and children and working ladies and stuff like that, versus it just being the genre that I was associated. So the kind of work I am getting is a lot on those lines, and I hope a matter of time that I'm back on big screen, because I missed it. So yeah.
Well, we enjoy seeing you on your brief appearances on the small screen, and I'm sure your fans would love to see you on the big screen as well. So we're waiting for that. But for now, congratulations on your new venture, Imagine Meets. All the best for it, and thank you so much for giving us these health tips today on NewsX.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And our next guest for the day is proprietor of Kothari, Ajit and company, Ajit Kothari. He creates a viable financial model for his clients depending on their requirements, resources and business profile, and much more. Listen in.
Specializing in strategic planning.
When I was doing my chartered accountancy, I've seen that people fiddle around for finance and they are not getting the right kind of guidance.
He plans financial models for his clients.
Approximately, we have raised 20,000 crores for the mid-sized corporate people to fund their business.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Ajit Kothari for excellence in management and finance.
Hello and welcome to NewsX A-List. I'm Meenakshi Upreti, and our guest today, someone very special, Mr. Ajit Kothari. He is a chartered accountant. He has over 25 years of rich experience. He is primarily dealing right now in fundraising for medium corporates, could be banks, venture capitalists, other equities. Sort of very interesting and a very diverse profile. Tell us, first of all, why did you choose to work in the field of finance?
First of all, I am very indeed pleasure to be on your platform. So indeed pleasure for me to be in your platform. And finance is basically during this period when I was doing my chartered accountancy, I've seen that people fiddle around for finance and they are not getting the right kind of guidance from the people on finance, because generally chartered accountants do auditing and taxation. And there are no people who can guide them on how to raise money at the optimum cost and without hurdle and do the progress. That is the main reason of selecting finance field. And in this journey, we have had many people. Approximately, we have raised 20,000 crores for the mid-sized corporate people to fund their business, to fund their ventures. This is
right. So, since you're speaking about funding other ventures, why did you decide to be in the fundraising, especially when we speak of the MSME units, sir?
See, MSME units can't afford to have the finance team in their payroll, on their payroll. That is the biggest hurdle for the MSME unit, because their setup is small. They can't have that much revenue, so they can't pay to the big people who can raise money. So that is the main reason to be in the MSME segment, to help them. And we work with them like a mentor to them, and we guide them to raise money at the optimum. Basic thing is optimum cost and the right mix of the equity and debt. So they should never come in the debt trap also. And we are there in the time of adversity to handhold. And suppose they get bigger order also, then how the bridge finance has to be arranged. That kind of things we are there, and that they can't create in their own office. That is the main reason.
And so when we speak of our education system, what is the biggest change you would like to see happen today, sir?
See, education system, if you see the education system, people do BCom, people pass BSc, but nothing related to your life. They don't teach you how to earn in your life. And that education is no way helping you out in your life earning. That is only you are carrying a degree. Or you go for a specialization in something, then only you can understand. See, basically, suppose we are into finance. I am a chartered accountant. But basically, up to BCom, we don't know anything how to earn for our life, basically to run our life smoothly, to live the life after retirement, what kind of planning is needed. Nothing short of practical thing is taught in our education system. We are just creating the batches, that he is from 93 batch, he is from 85 batch. That has to be changed properly. And a practical guideline to be introduced that they can earn or they can sustain after 55 years of their age when they reach to a retirement level, that how to manage their life.
Right.
That's the change we expect in the.
So you pointed out the flaws in our education system, sir. Take us through your background. What was your background like? Did you face any challenges? How did you bounce back? How did you overcome them?
See, myself came from a very meager family. My father was doing service, and we don't have that big money. So I did my schooling and graduation from the vernacular medium, Gujarati medium. And after joining CA, suddenly we came into English medium. But that also I can manage. And the real challenge came in the year 2014 when somebody flew away and I have to be under the debt of 20 crores because chartered accountants are only available in the field. So one person escaped, he flew away, the promoters flew away from India. Nobody was there, but only chartered accountant can be catch-hold because our data are publicly available. And I had to cover 20 crores and I was that 20 crores coupled with the 3 years. shuttling around the police stations. This police station, that police station, just answering the queries. So I came to earth literally having no penny, but the knowledge with which we help the people raising finance, that came to my rescue. And the way again I can bounce back. And today again on the path of growth and helping people in raising money.
Right, of course, that's your whole journey, sir. But did you face any challenges? If we speak very, specifically of the COVID period, what were the big challenges you faced them and how did you overcome them? What will be your advice for other businesses, sir?
See, in COVID period, the people who were not planned got many one collapsed because they don't have the plan B available. If something is set, they are not able to how to sustain, how to create their logistics so they can supply to their customers abroad or in India also. So generally people don't have concentration on supply chain and financial background. Both the things has proved them a very big jolt and they could not sustain. The biggest thing is that your finance should be well organized, that even during the tough time, your money never goes down. And you can, your supply chain should be like that you can supply at any time.
Right. So those are, of course, your advice for others. Tell us a little bit about your achievements. Since we've spoken about your challenges, advice to others, take us through as we sign off. Last question to you, sir. What are your big milestones which you'd like to share with us, the biggest project which you've backed till now?
See, the biggest milestone I got in the year 1991 when I started my journey. So we went to bankers with a project of a company where I joined. And bankers turned down that project as a non-viable. And the promoter's total stake was on becoming zero. And he could not sustain that. That time I decided that we are going public. And we took that company public. And it was a great success in 1991. That public issue was oversubscribed by 15 times. And the company, when they started working on the company, it was the one of the blue chip in the stock market, which was given return to the people who invested at the rate of 140%. And even the company was earning 58% margin on the sales.
Right.
And that we proved to the bankers that your decision that company is non-viable was wrong. And secondly, when we decided in that company to expand, and I came out with a instrument which was non-convertible, fully convertible debentures at premium. And that was I got a recognition from SEBI that first time introduced in India.
Yeah.
That instrument was first time introduced in India in 1994. And secondly, in 1994, we came out with a public issue of a company based at Surat. And that time, Surat was facing the pandemic period of this very heavy, you can say, one pandemic was going on in Surat.
Absolutely. So those, of course, yes, sir, please finish.
And that time we could raise, manage, and people oversubscribe the issue. Though people that time told that textile company never gets money from investors because that is not investor fancy companies. There also we could sustain. And recently, this Times of India selected me as best financial advisor and awarded on 27th of August.
Right. So you've listed out your milestones. Certainly, a very, very inspiring journey. It's been quite a turnaround for you, as you said about your childhood, starting with almost nothing to achieving such heights, such great milestones today. I hope it inspires all those who are watching the show as well. Thank you for giving time to NewsX. Thank you for speaking to us, sir.
Welcome.
And our next guest for the day is Chief Catalyst of Nutrify Today, Amit Srivastava. As a part of his commitment in building a responsible nutrition ecosystem to help boost the industry, his company is the world's first initiative in boosting nutraceutical industry by creating an active network of professionals and commercialization platform for innovations. Listen in.
Committed to building a responsible nutrition ecosystem.
I have built a substantial network of nutraceutical leaders in US, India, and key Asian countries.
He's boosting the nutraceutical industry.
Create a platform that connects food tech, Nutratech, pharmaceutical professionals.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Amit Srivastava for excellence in health and nutrition.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX A-list. We are in conversation today on the broadcast with Amit Srivastava. Amit is Chief Catalyst for Nutrify Today. Amit, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Let me just start out by asking you to just describe for us how your journey has been like with Nutrify Today.
Okay, sure. Thanks. In the last 25 years, I have built a substantial network of nutraceutical leaders in US, India, and key Asian countries. And I've always been connecting nutraceutical industry stakeholders to catalyze the speed of commercialization in responsible nutrition innovation. What I realized is that there's a gaping need to connecting dots for companies to commercialize innovations in shortest period of time. And that has been a pain point both in India and in many countries. My wife, Priyanka, actually triggered this thought of Nutrify Today. Create a platform that connects food tech, Nutratech, pharmaceutical professionals based on their need and enable the business. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty exciting. I had always been doing it, but now gave it a formal shot. I quit the job and started this venture early last year. And fortunately, it has multiplied, not only in India, but now it's fairly well networked operations in Asia Pacific, Africa, and in the US.
Okay. But help us understand a bit about what really Nutrify Today is and how it enables the industry.
Okay. NutrifyToday.com enables two most important things in nutraceutical industry. One, business networking amongst Nutra, Pharma, and food tech professionals by way of connect, chat, blogging, attending webinars, workshop, e-learning courses relevant to, of course, nutraceuticals. Second, connecting curated buyers and sellers in nutraceuticals. And that typically would mean by curated connect, it would assist buyers in designing new product development and connecting them to ingredient suppliers, contract manufacturers, clinical trial agencies, regulatory agencies to cut down go-to-market time by 40 to 50%. And that's seriously substantial, which was not there before Nutrify Today. So just to give you a perspective, a buyer would benefit. One is, of course, safety of conducting business because the entire platform users are curated by the ethical committee of Nutrify Today platform.
Okay.
Then the biggest commercial advantage is shortest period of time for commercialization. I just mentioned 40 to 50% of time saving.
Yeah.
And it's a one-stop access to commercial, technical, and regulatory resources. And particularly for sellers, it's safety for the innovation. So the innovation is protected, cannot be copied or cheated by anyone else, which is very prevalent in some of the large players internationally on the platform. Most important thing is it democratizes supply system based on the merit. Not even a small innovator sitting in some corner of India can connect with the large player and commercialize innovation. And one of the best example I always cite is a scientist for 20 years did research on Ayurveda nanoparticles somewhere in the suburbs of small town Guntur. But using the platform, after 20 years, when the platform is there, he got connected to a buyer in Switzerland, Euro Alliance. And today, long story short, there's a brand called as Nanoveda, which has gone globally successful in the United States, in the Europe, and recently they have entered India. 20 years of work, one platform, global presence.
Okay. I would like to ask you, of course, about why something like Nutrify Today is needed, and also how it can help India in particular.
Okay. Nutrify Today Nutraceuticals.com, I feel, is a need of the hour, as it is the only platform that brings industry stakeholders together, build career, help them, of course, build career, safely conduct business, network, learn. Uh, since Nutrify today brings stakeholders together, it has also become a very powerful platform engaging with the government in evolving policies for nutraceutical industry. Nutrify today enabled recent meeting with top officers in government with the proposal for India to achieve $100 billion in revenue by 2030 in the field of nutraceuticals. Okay. And it was very well received by the government, and the speed at which the government is actually moving ahead with our proposal, I believe that India will shoot from currently $8 billion US to $40 billion US by 2025, which is not too far ahead, and $100 billion by of course 2030, making India the second largest nutraceutical market outside of America. Okay,
and if we talk about success stories, about how many buyers and sellers have benefited from your platform already?
Okay, we have impacted over 500 businesses. Okay, commercialized over 6 startups in the country. They have gone international, and enabled over 200 professionals in jobs in the field of nutraceuticals in India as well as outside of India.
Okay, I have to ask you though, for the benefit of our viewers also watching, if you can just tell us a bit more about what nutraceuticals are, and also, as far as India is concerned, where do we really stand with respect to the nutraceuticals industry worldwide?
Okay, cool. Nutraceuticals is a specialized field. It is a fusion of food technology, biotech, and pharmaceutical technology, where standardized isolates from plants, medicinal plants, is taken out and is converted into a dosage format using food technology or the technology from pharmaceuticals to achieve a defined health outcome. Now, unlike food, nutraceuticals, like pharmaceuticals, are subjected through clinical trials, validation of health claims, which is not the case when you consume regular food. Yeah. And hence it's nutrition and pharmaceuticals or food technology fusion, calling it as nutraceuticals. And when you say, where does India stand? Of the total $400 billion US market globally, 60% is, of course, America, but 2% is India. And that amounts to about 8 billion. And that will connect the dots when I said, this is my vision, actually, take it from 8 to 40 billion and then 40 to 100 billion. And India has all the opportunity and resources to achieve it.
Okay. India is known as, of course, the pharmacy to the world. But can we also be the evidence-based preventive health provider for the world through nutraceuticals, sir?
Well, that's my vision, to enable India and empower it with market that it can generate a revenue of $100 billion by 2030. Yeah. You know what? India's got 52 agroclimatic zones, solid reserves of Ayurveda prescribed plants. What is stopping current $8 billion market of India revenue being generated to reaching to 40 billion by 2025 or 100 billion by 2030 is the non-recognition of industry by the government, non-nutraceutical specific policies, and lack of infrastructure to promote this industry. Now, the way we are working with the government, the policy changes, giving recognition to industry, India has all the resources to become a global nutraceutical hub of the world.
Okay, well, we've almost run out of time, Amit, but I'm going to have to ask you as we end about the Nutrify Today C-Suite Summit. Can you tell us something about this?
Yeah, sure. The C-Suite Summit is an offline event of NutrifyToday.com, which will be held in Mumbai on 4th and 5th of February, 2022. It's getting C-suite executives from the industry, that is pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, as well as the government, to get together onto the table. So it's like a roundtable meet and actually create business opportunities for the country to grow and achieve the larger vision of achieving $100 billion by 2030. And although it is by invite, but then it's open for, if someone wants to attend, can write to us at hello@nutrifytoday.com or chat with us on the website nutrifytoday.com.
Okay, well, we do hope that it will certainly be a success next year.
Thank you very much.
Now, thank you so much, Amit Srivastava, for joining us on NewsX today.
Our next guest for the day is Director and CEO of Super Plastronics Private Limited, Avneet Singh Marwa. He is involved in the business development and research and development of products. Listen it.
Involved in business development and research for products.
We started with plastic molding of televisions back then for CRT.
He has worked in various areas of manufacturing, supply, and more.
We are one of the largest brand licensee in India and second largest television manufacturing in India right now.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Avneet Singh Marwa for excellence in research and product development.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this brand new interview as part of our NewsX A-List series. We are in conversation today with a special guest. Yes, Avneet Singh Marwa is with us live today. He's Director and CEO, Super Plastronics Private Limited, which of course is a Kodak brand licensee. Welcome, Mr. Marwa, to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Let me just begin by just talking to you a bit about your company. If you can tell us a bit more about Super Plastronics Limited and of course what it does, what sets it apart from other players in this competitive market.
So Super Plastronics is about a 30-year-old company. We started with plastic molding of televisions back then for CRT. And then we started manufacturing CRT. And we are a complete backward integrated plant. And that experience was forward towards manufacturing LCDs and now LEDs, 4K TVs, UHDs. Company invested, so back then we were completely Atmanirbhar for CRT televisions. Now we are again in LED televisions. We are a complete backward integrated plant. We have everything in-house from plastic molding to SMT to clean room and assembly line. And currently we have about 5 brands starting from Kodak. Then Thomson we launched in 2018. After that, we launched Blowpaw. Recently, we launched Westinghouse televisions. And then we have White Westinghouse by Electrolux, our appliances washing machine brand. So we are one of the largest brand licensee in India and second largest television manufacturing in India right now. Okay. And in terms of selling, we currently selling in more than 18,000 pin codes in India. We are a top 2 online selling brand. Our major strategic partner is Flipkart. And for Kodak, it's available across online and offline both. Okay. And with a vast service network of more than 550 service center that we company owned and about 28 warehousing. We have one manufacturing unit in Noida, and there are 2 more manufacturing unit that is coming up.
Okay, I'll come to that in just a second. We're just talking about the festive season, which of course is here. How important is the festive season for you in terms of course, your sales, and what are your expectations for this festive season that is approaching?
So festive season for any electronic brand is about 35 to 40% of the year. Mm-hmm. And as I just told you that we are online and offline. Mm-hmm. So there are 3 major sales that comes through online. And this time the sales started a bit early. So it's a very important month for us. Then the Dussehra sale comes and then Dhanteras. So this is the majority of the season is covered in this. We have done a couple of new launches. There are more launches that are coming up this festive season. The company is completely focused on how we can give you the best technology at affordable pricing.
But I have to ask you, Mr. Marwa, because of the COVID situation, has there been a bit of an issue of demand-supply gap?
Yeah, so the first when the first wave hit, then there was a lot of pent up demand that was there. One of the reason was the whole world was on screen, either work from home, either your classes was going online, and then in the evening your OTT platforms were there to entertain you. So at that point of time, there was a huge spike in terms of buying of screen, and television, smart TV plays a very vital role in that. And therefore, there was about 30% growth. But things changed after second wave. As people, the kind of second wave that was hit in India, people started saving for, and they were not spending their disposable income. As you know, it was, the maternity rate was really high. And in terms of, as you know, India is a very big saving economy. And after June, I would say April and June, the market got stagnant. And one of July and August, it degrowed also. But as economy is recovering, and the first sales showed a very encouraging sign. We saw about 80% year-on-year growth on Big Billion Day sale and Amazon's Great India Festive Sale. So I think it's recovering. We are hoping that Diwali have good numbers. And if wave 3 is not hit, I think markets will recover and you will see a growth in smart TV market.
Okay. Also, now I'd like to just discuss those recent expansion plans of yours that you were referring to earlier, the recent investments also, that you've done as a company, and your focus on Make in India.
Yeah, so as I just mentioned earlier, that we are completely binded by Make in India, and we are talking with government how more value addition that can be done. Yesterday, in fact, we were talking how chipset companies wants to invest in India. Then there are a couple of panel, companies wants to make open cell in India. So that talks is also going on. In terms of our investment, we have already invested more than 500 crores in last 4 years. In next set of 3 years, companies already invested more than 500 crores again. There are 4 new projects which are coming. And I would like to thank UP government also for this kind of encouragement. The kind of partnership and strategic location that they have provided has been fantastic. I think there has been improvement of ease of doing business in India. And not smart TVs, but we'll be going hard on appliances as well. We feel that a budget segment, affordable brand for appliances is needed in India. And we are targeting on that. Thomson, for example, washing machine, already in top 5 washing machine brand online. And we have, receiving huge success in that. So we'll be investing in that. So that's the whole narrative in totality. If company is coming up with new plant in Hapur, where it will be manufacturing smart TVs. Our target production lineup will be about 2 million units a year. And with that plant, we'll be starting to exports as well in 2022. In terms of our appliances, we are coming up with a new unit in Noida. And that I think that facility will be starting in end of 22 or 2023 early.
Okay. So a lot on the cards for your company in the days ahead. Fantastic. Just very briefly on omni-channel presence as well, if you can just shed a bit more light on that, and also on how your how the company really has performed in this entire COVID pandemic.
Yeah, so Omni Kodak is a brand that we do in Omnitech, and it has a huge presence in LFRs. And now we are currently have network in more than 24 states. Our national distributor for Kodak is the Q3, which we are working very closely with them and entering different parts of India where the online markets are not growing, or it has come down to a saturation point. And plus, I feel that there is look and feel always there in Indian consumer, and especially in bigger sizes. So for that, we are targeting our premium series Kodak CA, where we have just launched in offline market, and we're having fantastic results over that. So in terms of Omni and another this festive, we'll be signing off with other chain stores, regional chain stores that we are entering. So it's a very exciting market. As I told you, that it's a recovery, economy is recovering, and I see that customers are now going out and buying products.
Okay. What's your current market share, if I were to ask you, and also what plans do you have for the future to further increase it?
Yeah, about 7% market share that we have in television market, and we want to expand up to 15% in next 3 years. As I told you, that we have 4 television brands, and cumulative we are the second largest online brand right now for televisions. So about 15% market share that right now we are targeting in next 3 years.
Okay. A final question then to you, Mr. Marva, before we sign off. What is your success mantra? What has been, your excellence mantra over the years that, of course, can be perhaps good for our viewers to hear as well, and our budding entrepreneurs?
I think successful mantra has been the lethal combination that SPPL has. Firstly, the infrastructure that they have, and the kind of warehousing from logistics to manufacturing, and then the selling team. I think it's a very big lethal combination that for every brand it's needed. We have the complete ecosystem where we manufacture. We have our own logistic warehousing, and then we have tie-ups with the selling platform as well. And then we have direct communication with the customers too. So we have our own CXO team. So I think that plays a huge vital role to understand consumer behavior in India.
Okay. Thank you so much once again, Abneet Singh Marva, for joining us on NewsX, and all the very best to you and Super Plastronics Private Limited in the days ahead.
And our final guest for the day is founder of Manikarnika, Nitya Singh Garha, from voting for Chanderi weavers of her region. She promotes their craftsmanship by giving a different look to their Chanderis. Listen in.
Promoting Chanderi weavers of her region.
It just struck me that, God, I should do something for them, And I just picked up the things and I just started off Manikarnika.
She promotes by giving a different look to Chanderis.
I wanted to do something very different which was not available, I wanted to show my side of the creativity.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Nitya Singh Garha for excellence in design and fashion.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview as part of our NewsX A-list series. We're in conversation today with Nitya Singh Garha. She's founder Manikarnika. Nitya, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Uday. Thank you. How are you?
All well, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Let me just begin by asking you a bit about Manikarnika. What made you start this brand? What was the objective?
Actually, being married this side of the world, and living in Guna, especially, it's a district town, right? Mm-hmm. One, being a housewife, you really don't have much to do. Mm-hmm. And I, having very natural artistic streak, mm-hmm. Since school days, I used to keep designing on and off and on. But then later on, I thought, let me give it a try. I just went one day, my husband just took me for shopping to Chanderi, and we were buying something for ourselves. And I saw this beautiful collection, and I met some weavers, and it just, when I was looking at it, and it just struck me that, God, I should do something for them, And I just picked up the things and I just started off Manikarnika.
Yeah.
It just came to my mind. Everything was just very spontaneous.
Okay.
It was nothing like I had very big plans or anything. No. I said, let's see how it goes off. And then I had first exhibition with Royal Fables. Mm-hmm. Anshu was very, very, very kind and very gracious to have, invited me with the Royal Fables. She gave me the platform.
Yeah.
And then first exhibition was at Baroda. And then I had 2-3 exhibitions of my own. And it did very well. It did very well. But then I wanted to do something very different, which was not available, It was, I wanted to show my side of the creativity also and my contribution towards Chanderi.
Okay. And of course, that's your USP. Do you believe that's what sets you apart from others, that you give your own twist to the Chanderi saris? You have your own addition to the Chanderis. Tell us a bit more about this.
First time when I had it, it was just all hand-woven stuff. But hand-woven stuff you get everywhere there. Everywhere you go to Delhi, there are people dealing in it. But I just wanted to be a little different to everything. And more than being competitive or anything, I wanted to discover my own self, my own ability towards creating. How much can I do it? And then I found these bunch of artists, they were willing to work with me, but it takes a very, very long time. And even this hand painted, it just struck me that I should do hand painting saris. That would be something very different. And it's very, very, women feel it's very, very suave, very chic, and it really goes something done with your own hands. And then I found these 2-3 bunch of youngsters and great artists, basically were willing to work with me with my palette. And with, it's like very difficult when you have to read somebody's mind and put it onto the canvas, right? So, and this was in the saris. So then I started talking and, but it takes a very long time to finish one sari. In a month, you can only make five pieces.
Okay.
Because it's a whole thing, and these are all watercolors.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
They did it, and let's see how it goes, because this is the first time I'm going to showcase these. And then after hand painting, because there are ducks, there are flamingos, there are lotuses. It's very, very English.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. The art is very, very English. Okay. It's not very Indian.
Yes.
I can't give it off right now on your TV. What I'm going to do next, Indian, with the hand painting.
Okay. So there's a lot still coming, is what you're clearly saying. Okay. But I have to ask you, about the art of Chanderi now. Now, why is it that there's not so much talk about, the Chanderi region and of course this Chanderi art compared to other, forms of also art like Banarsi sari and, other forms of sari, which are much more talked about. And also have others also from your region been patronizing the craft of the Chanderi? Of course, you're doing your own thing. You have your own uniqueness, but have others also been contributing?
No, I tell you, Chanderi is actually the royal family of Gwalior. That's a Scindia's forte. Okay. And Her Highness Priya Raja Scindia, she contributes a lot for the betterment of Chanderi weavers. Okay. And the Scindia family does a lot, undoubtedly. They're surviving. Chanderi is the culture, the art has survived because of the Scindias.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you the difference between Banaras and Chanderi. Chanderi has a life. A piece has a life. You can't have it eternally because it's a very, very royal, thin fabric. It's like a sheer. It just flows,
Yeah.
Banarasi is silk. Okay. So there's a difference. I don't know why people don't go in for Chanderi. Maheshwar, Richard Holkar and Sally Holkar, they've done a lot. They've contributed a lot to the Reva Foundation. Okay. And they do a lot. But that's a thicker fabric.
Right.
Chanderi is absolutely regal.
Okay. And I also have to ask you, for our viewers watching, where exactly is Chanderi? Where is it's of course very close to where you live. Where is it exactly in India?
I'll tell you. I live in Guna district, From here, there's one district known as Ashok Nagar.
Mhm.
आपको पता ही होगा,
Ji.
Ashok Nagar district. So Ashok Nagar district is just away from that is Chanderi. It comes into, it's one of the constituencies,
Okay.
Chanderi.
Okay.
Yeah, Ashok Nagar district.
Okay. So Chanderi, of course, in Madhya Pradesh is where this art originated.
Oh, it's got beautiful history, Uday.
Yes.
It's got a lot of history.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place to visit also.
Yes. Yes. I have to also ask you though about how you came up with the name Manikarnika. How did you think of this name for your brand?
We were going on and going on, trying to see what name will I give for my exhibition. And actually, Manikarnika was the name of Rani Lakshmi Bai.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Queen of Jhansi.
Yeah.
Right. But then when I got into the deeper meaning of Manikarnika, it is a name of goddess, one of the names of goddess Sati.
Okay.
Lord Shiv's first wife.
Mm-hmm.
Manikarnika. There's a temple in Banaras. So these rich fabrics were always offered to our goddesses. You get it? So
Right.
That's how I put this name.
Wow. Okay. So there's a special meaning there. Of
Yeah.
course, this is why you've chosen it. Okay. Final question then, Nitya ji, to you about how the response really has been to your first few exhibitions and what are your now future plans? You plan to have more such exhibitions? Do you plan also, of course, some new collections as you were telling us? How's the response been and what plans for the future?
You know, Uday, I'm not a person who thinks a lot. I'm a very spontaneous person.
Mm-hmm.
But if I get a good response and if I get people appreciating what I have to, deliver,
Mm-hmm.
definitely I'm going to take it forward to a greater height, God willing.
Okay.
But as of now, I would like to continue doing my exhibitions because, I'm a more slow-spaced worker. I like to relax and work in my own way, in my own zone. But if I get a lot of encouragement, if I get a lot of appreciation, definitely I'd like to do. And in fact, I always urge people, like me, I have just a little thing to say through you. Okay. We wear fabrics. You have to buy clothes, right?
Yes.
Even each one of us, if we contribute by buying at least one or two pieces from these weavers,
Mm-hmm.
we are contributing towards the betterment of humanity. It's just how you look at it.
True.
These weavers, they don't get much of labor while making. A Chanderi piece takes hell of a lot of time to make.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
You get
interesting. Very important point, as you're saying. It's not just fashion, but it's also empowerment. It's also empowerment through the clothes that you're picking up. Okay.
You'll see 80-year-old women.
Yes.
Sitting on those, khatkas.
Yeah.
And it's a different when you come as promised, as we've spoken about it before.
Yes. I'll see it for myself. But of course, it's a message, of course, that you want to send out to the larger audience watching as well. Thank you so much. We've run out of time. So
thank you so much for having me over there. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.